Hello, my name is Josh Cannon. Tonight we're standing on sacred grounds. I will be taking you on a journey through one of the greatest TV shows of all time and the sad desecration that happened in the year 2008 on the cable network Spike TV. Unsolved Mysteries scared the shit out of an entire generation of kids, myself included. The show was hosted by the man himself, Mr. Robert Stack, and reached its heyday in the early 90s on NBC. And then later it was picked up on CBS, and later it moved to Lifetime until its ultimate cancellation in 2002. The series became a cult favorite amongst many of its rabid fans, me being one of the biggest. And that's the end of the story, right? Wrong. Join me tonight as I take you through the rise and fall of one of the greatest shows of all time, Unsolved Mysteries. This is the Overstimulation Station. Unsolved Mysteries was a show shot in a documentary style that profiled murders, missing persons, the paranormal, lost loves, and strange legends. The creepy music in the show, paired with Robert Stack's even creepier voice and stone-faced veneer, made this series one of my absolute favorites. It was informative, it was entertaining, and let's face it, we like being scared and or creeped out from time to time. It bummed me out when the show was canceled, but they kept airing reruns, so myself and most of the other fans remained pacified. That is until 2008, when for God knows what reason, HBO Distribution announced plans to bring back Unsolved Mysteries to the Spike TV network when their contract with Lifetime expired. You know, I find that kind of ironic. They're bringing it back to Spike TV, television for men, when their contract with Lifetime, television for women, expired. Anyway, the show featured a new set, new logo, new music, and a new host, Dennis Farina. In one article I read at the time, they put it best by saying, quote, "The new Unsolved Mysteries is basically like stripping everything from a car except the engine and building a new car around it," end quote. I was able to secure an interview with one of the world's biggest Unsolved Mysteries experts. By request, this interview was done in silhouette.
When I heard they were bringing back Unsolved Mysteries back in 2008, I was pretty excited, but I was also very skeptical. Robert Stack had died in 2003 and he was a huge reason why the show worked. If it were up to me, I just want to see reruns of the old episodes. You can't find them anywhere online, and the DVDs that were released were only a quarter of the 572 episodes.
And that's all the fans want, is to just see the old reruns. We don't care about a newer, cooler show. We want the classic because they got it right the first time. I'm not saying that solving murders and all that isn't still important, and that's why the producers still have the website active, which, by the way, if you want to check it out, it's www.unsolved.com, and they're still updating the website with new cases and new mysteries to solve and all that good stuff.
Alright, enough dancing around the issue. Let me just get to the point here. The new Unsolved Mysteries is shit. You hear me? It is complete crap. They took everything that was great about the old show and they threw it out the window. Let's compare apples to apples, exactly how they managed to so royally screw up such a classic show.
Let's start with the music and opening themes. This is the new theme. Okay, whatever. Let's take a look at the original now.
Creating the events. What you're about to see is not a news broadcast.
Today, near England's ancient monolith at Stonehenge, an extraordinary phenomenon is occurring that defies all explanation. Bizarre, perfectly formed circles are appearing overnight in scores of wheat fields across the country. Experts have no idea how they have been formed only that they seem to have no human or natural origin. Who or what is responsible for their creation? In a small town in Colorado, two friends vanished without a trace under the same bizarre circumstances, and oddly, these same events were foretold in a novel one was writing about the other. On a North Carolina highway, four men were stalked and driven off the road in a savage high-speed chase. What could have been the motive for this vicious hit-and-run killing? Also tonight, the heartwarming story of a reunion between a young woman and the loving family that she was separated from 13 years ago. On the very night of our broadcast, Sharon Stevens found her long-lost foster parents.
The old music was so identifiable and totally set the mood for the rest of the show. I am so ready to watch this just by the intro alone. The new music is generic. It's boring. You could literally cut and copy to any other murder mystery show, and no one would think twice. Now, let's compare how the hosts introduce the segments. This is an old segment entitled Bordello Murders, about two women who were murdered at a massage parlor in Kentucky.
Our next story is about sex, murder, and charges that the police may be involved in the killing of two prostitutes. At the center of this unsolved crime is a madam who won't stop until she gets some answers.
I don't think the murders were ever meant to be solved. They thought if it got solved, it would be a really big embarrassment to have police officers arrested for killing two prostitutes.
A brutal double murder. Allegations of police corruption. A house of ill repute and a madam who refuses to keep quiet. It has all the elements. It's a kind of case guaranteed to rip a small town apart. Almost 3 years went by and the case remained unsolved. Then Tammy Papper went public with stunning accusations about the police department. Accusations that had been widely disputed.
I don't think the murders were ever meant to be solved. They thought if it got solved, it would be a really big embarrassment to have two police officers arrested for killing two prostitutes.
Now let's talk about unneeded effects. The new show is full of them. Whether it be unneeded sound or visual effects, they tried so hard to make Unsolved Mysteries look like it came straight out of the new millennium, as if just because something's old that automatically makes it bad. One of the most annoying sound effects that they use a lot is something called a stab. Now what is a stab, you might ask? Stab is something that is used a lot in Hollywood movies, in my opinion, one of their only tactics to scare people anymore, and it's a loud, short burst of sound coming at you to add dramatic effect to something. Like, you know, I might be like if a knife-wielding madman came after me, you know, like just stab, 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 stab. It's kind of fun. The new show uses massive amounts of these sounds in the background as a cheap way to add more of a sense of drama to the show.
And when she went on vacation, Tammy says,
which was highly ineffective, I might add. Secondary in the useless effects department is a technique called blooming. Now, what is blooming, you might ask? I'm not referring to a flower, it's this effect right here. It's an effect that any Joe fuckface with basic editing software can do, and this was their go-to effect to wash away all those evil 90s demons that made the show look just oh so dated. So I hope you have a pair of sunglasses handy for the clips I'm about to show you. If you took a shot every time they use this effect in the new show, you'd be dead of alcohol poisoning in 30 minutes.
With the murders.
The town all anew.
Possessed by demons. Set up the exorcism.
We can get rid of it.
But Presley's own stepbrother is convinced that the king's death was not accidental.
People say, what do you think the most difficult part of Elvis Presley's life was?
For hundreds of miles in every direction.
Number of log of all activities for that squadron.
The pace and art style of the original show was completely shelved in favor of quicker segments and the aforementioned disorienting effects. The original took its time establishing a story. It was film noir. It was spooky. It had a feel. You know what? Fuck it. I'm just gonna go down the list of things I don't like about the Revamp show. I hate the random rock music.
Business anymore. I didn't want him around the girls. I informed the girls you keep the door locked. If he comes in, you just shake your head no.
But then again, this is Spike TV, television for men.
I told him, don't ever.
I hate the pointless editing effects.
And collect his money by any means necessary.
I hate the unnecessary details.
In this case, would become the subject of a major motion picture, Alpha Dog, starring Justin Timberlake.
Again with the corny stabs.
And it was a darkness that I saw through my eyes that I had never seen before.
I hate how they act like this show is new and say shit like this.
Not ours.
Since we taped Kathy's exorcism, she reports significant improvements and has a job for the first time in 12 years.
Oh, did you really talk to her recently? Did you? Yeah, because I'm pretty sure this is more than a decade-old segment that you're talking about.
Since we taped Kathy's exorcism, she reports that she's continuing to improve and has a job for the first time in 12 years.
I just don't like Dennis Farina as a host at all. I'm sorry, the dude is so vanilla. He couldn't be more boring and uninteresting to listen to. I think he himself is bored hosting this show.
With the physical evidence makes for a compelling case. And now, both sides of this ongoing controversy.
I can't stand these senseless graphics on the screen and the text, unidentified object like, we're too dumb to realize that the story is about a UFO and the person being interviewed was explaining the mysterious blue light in the ravine, but I still don't know what that blue thing is. If they could only explain it to me further. Compare that to the original clip.
Volunteer fireman Jim Mays led one team of state troopers to a promontory overlooking the ravine.
We went up this road and came to the brow of a hill and stopped, and down to the right in the holler were these blue flashing lights.
You see that light? What is that?
It wasn't so...
Oh my God, such a breath of fresh air. Jesus. Assume the audience has some intelligence. Wow, what a novel concept.
You know, when they brought back Unsolved Mysteries, they were just trying to make it look like every other basic-ass crime drama on TV. They didn't care that it was in a league of its own. They just wanted it to look like the next Forensic Files, or America's Most Wanted, or anything on the Investigation Discovery Channel. They were too worried about the public's expectations. Were they gonna like the show? Were they gonna think it's cool enough? And you can't do that. You can't worry about what the public's expectations are, because the public is like a bunch of sheep, and they're always looking for the next cool thing that they can all jump on board and say they like before anybody else. You gotta be the shepherd and lead those sheep to cool things. And that's what Unsolved Mysteries did in the 90s. They understood that they had to make it look different to stand out. As a final note to the Unsolved Mysteries saga, it ran for an astonishingly short time on the Spike TV network, with only 2 years before being canceled in 2010. And in a bizarre twist of events, Lifetime picked up the new Revamp show and started running reruns of that on their network. So now, the classic Unsolved Mysteries can pretty much never be seen on cable TV again. I'm glad I bought the DVD box set before they discontinued that too. I don't know why Unsolved Mysteries keeps getting desecrated and shat on, and kept out of reach from its loyal fans. To me, that'll remain the true Unsolved Mystery. I'm Josh Cannon. This is the Overstimulation Station. Hope you enjoyed watching. I'm getting drunk.
Well, that was the show. I hoped you enjoyed it. Hope we solved a lot of mysteries as far as this matter is concerned. If you liked what you saw, you can subscribe to my channel by clicking down below. It's a mystery why I have such little subscribers. Just a little mysterious humor for you there. Please share with your friends and tell them about the Overstimulation Station. Take 2. Alright guys, that was...